Do you rent water purifiers to end customers? Here's how to respond to your customers when they ask which type of water is best for their health. I am Fabio Tessi from Onnwater, and in this video I want to give you some answers, some insights to respond to questions from your end customers when they ask you, for example, which type of pH is better for their health, whether the pH of water affects the health of the body, or if alkaline water is better, or if alkaline water is harmful. All these questions together. But why is it important for you to know how to respond? Because the topic of pH concerning water is a subject that is quite influenced. And your end customers read articles, read newspapers, read ads, watch videos that, let's say, often have information that is not truthful or, in any case, is quite confusing regarding pH. But this information is dangerous for you, because if your customers are educated with incorrect information about the pH of water, they risk creating false myths that then prevent them from buying or renting water purifiers for the home, office or restaurant. Therefore, it is important that you or your sales agents or your salespeople know how to respond, have the right cues to respond with, let's say, well-founded notions, and give an excellent impression of your brand, ensuring that you are perceived as a true professional so that the customer trusts you, trusts your answers, and then will also trust your water dispensers and will be more willing to sign the contract with you and perhaps recommend your brand to others, bringing you new customers through word of mouth. The first question that your end customers might ask you is, but is the pH of water really important for human health? Because many think that the more alkaline the pH is, the healthier it is, while the more acidic the pH of the water is, the more harmful it is to health. Here's what you can tell your customer. The pH of drinking water ranges from about 6 to 8, and this variation is almost negligible. But why is this? Because when water reaches our stomach, it encounters an environment that is strongly acidic, as the pH of the human stomach is around 1.5, sometimes 2. So if we ingest water that is between 6 and 8, you can well understand that it has no harmful impact on health. It's important for your customers to understand this as well. But here's another example you can use to explain it better to your customers. Think of drinks like wine, lemonade, or even sparkling water itself. They are extremely more acidic than regular water because their pH ranges between 3 and 4. Yet these are drinks that are consumed by everyone, every day, without any harmful effects. Okay, so when we talk about drinking water that is 6 or 8 in pH, you understand that compared to other beverages that are 3 or 4, it's completely different. Another thing that your end customers might tell you or show you is that they have tested the pH of the water with measuring instruments, tools that rely on color using various reagents. So let's say they might have been poorly educated through videos or articles that explain that depending on certain colors, certain color reactions from these pH measuring instruments, the water is healthier or less healthy. Let's say that, broadly speaking. There is a tendency to think that the lower the pH of the water, the more harmful it is to health. But what can you explain to your customer to reassure them about this factor? Well, the water found in bottles, which has labels, or tap water, which comes directly from the water supply network, are waters that are already controlled and are within legal limits. Therefore, using tools to measure the pH of waters that are already certified is absolutely not a correct practice that your customers should engage in. So it's important that you explain this concept to them in such a way that it doesn't influence their decision to buy or not buy your water dispensers. So how can you also prevent your end customers from being influenced by these tools that measure pH? Well, you can simply tell them that if the water changes color, okay, using these tools, it's not because it becomes harmful or dangerous. Because if you take a glass of water and literally blow into it, the pH changes because you're blowing carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide alters the pH of the water. So try to shift these concepts that your end customers have and that they've seen in videos or ads, because the color of the water does not determine whether it is healthy or unhealthy water. So at this point, if the pH is not important for assessing, let's say, the quality of the water, and this is something, a fact that might somewhat confuse your end customers if they have seen videos or articles that claimed otherwise, what are the elements that it is important for your end customers to evaluate and understand as important to assess? Well, everything that concerns contaminants or dissolved chemicals such as heavy metals, viruses, bacteria, PFAS. All these things are important to monitor in water to determine its quality and potability, not the pH. Try to shift the focus from pH and the whole pH topic to everything related to heavy metals and contaminants, because this will help your client understand that they actually need a water dispenser, especially if they have well water, especially if the water coming out of their tap perhaps tastes like chlorine or plastic. In this way, the solution becomes almost obvious, meaning a water dispenser with various filtration systems such as reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, microfiltration, but not the pH. Therefore, try to, let's say, debunk these myths regarding pH and focus your end customers on the topics that actually matter and bring you closer to making a sale or closing the contract. Another question your end customers might ask you is whether bottled water is safer than tap water at home. Well, here's what you can answer. The water that comes out of the tap, which comes from the water supply, is actually much safer and more controlled compared to bottled mineral waters, because there are laws that are extremely stricter for tap water. There are even some mineral waters that could not be marketed in bottles because they do not meet certain legal limits. It is important for you to emphasize this to your customers, because if you can make them understand this concept, it will be easier to make them realize that tap water is already of excellent quality. However, by adding a filtration system, which could be reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration or microfiltration, the quality and safety of the water are elevated to an even higher level. Now that you have all this knowledge, use it to your advantage, because it is important that before explaining all the features and functions of your water dispensers to end customers, or before explaining the quality of your customer service, it is crucial that you debunk the myths and false beliefs that occupy your customers' minds. Because if you don't manage to debunk these myths, first, which can come, as I mentioned before, from videos or articles that your customers read, they automatically won't have the space to absorb the positive information that you provide about your water dispensers or your customer service. Okay? So this is extremely important. So use this information to displace these beliefs and then insert your sales arguments, which are certainly more convincing. And you surely know how to present them to your end customers. That's all for this video. I invite you to click the button to subscribe to the Onnwater YouTube page to see more videos like this. And I also invite you to click the bell button so you automatically receive notifications when new videos are released, ensuring you don't miss them and can capture new information to use in your sales pitches and, of course, close more deals. See you in the next video.